This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Oh, a little delayed there. That's okay. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Tori, Jeff, and Al. Okay, so today we're looking back at some of the best celebrity moments on DBL. Everyone in DBL Nation knows that Tori, well, has a little bit of a dislike toward actress and Goop founder Gwyneth Paltrow. Take a look.
Gwyneth Paltrow, my favorite person, is getting real about aging.
That's bullying. I don't think that's funny at all. I think she stinks.
Gwyneth Paltrow put out her annual ridiculous but awesome Goop holiday gift guide. And it doesn't disappoint, Tori. Are you ready? Do you want to hear what's in it?
If you're gonna make your brand being tone deaf, you're doing a really good job, because all of that is absolutely outrageous.
Tori,
She's not relatable. And let me just tell you something very clearly. I want to be serious about this. When she once advised women on having jade vaginal eggs for bladder control and other positive uses, people listen to Gwyneth Paltrow. And then she lost a lawsuit because that's dangerous and had to pay $145,000 to 10 different people. So I just want people to know, it's not like I dislike her. I think she's dangerous.
So for years, we just thought Gwyneth irritated Tori. That is until we found out the real reason behind it all.
Why do you... Also, I want to say this.
First of all, I said it
cut off all my hair to look like Gwyneth Paltrow, to look terrible. I look terrible. So if you're hungry or angry or sad, don't make rash decisions about your hair.
Wait a minute.
I did,
Hold
and
on.
it took a while.
Hold the phone. You cut your hair to look like Gwyneth Paltrow?
In what? What was
In sliding doors.
No,
Remember when she gets that cut? That's
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope. Stop right here, because we have a major unveiling. She is always so hard on Gwyneth Paltrow, and it turns out that the reason why is because you tried to emulate her hairstyle, and it looked terrible on you.
Dr.
That's not the reason, Gwynny. You take that. That's your L. You take that loss, Tor.
We have a retired Gwyneth Paltrow stan, right? She obviously stanned her. Stan means you're obsessed with someone. She stanned her. What? You cut her your hair like her.
I just liked her hair.
And you didn't like
her
it,
hair.
and Erica psychologically broke you down.
Wow.
What was happening to you on that?
Well, she did touch close to home, so obviously, listen.
You cut your hair like her.
Just like her, and I thought she was also excellent in Shakespeare in Love. So there was a big Gwyneth fan phase. But the second I cut it, I went into an elevator, held the door, and a woman goes, "Thank you, young man." And I was like, I'm out. I'm done. So I liked Gwyneth Paltrow until Goop. Goop changed it for me when it became a little bit quacky to me.
Well, she never claims to be a doctor. She's just offering.
She claimed health benefits and was sued, rightly so.
That's a good point.
Thanks.
I think there's some hate there.
Yeah.
I think, Tori, we need
There's
to
some
talk this out after the show. All right, now Tori's not the only one on the hot seat today. Sammy, you've been known to say everything from words, phrases, even movie titles, completely, utterly,
I can't wait for this.
embarrassingly, disrespectfully even wrong.
Embarrassing.
And we've got the receipts, so take a look.
If you've been to Yosemite, you've seen El Capitan, you've seen Half Dome, and to even think, I mean, I grew up going to Yosemite every summer, and to look up, I mean, that seems like it reaches like to the heavens, those peaks.
You called it Yosemite.
What?
Yosemite.
Yosemite.
No, yo.
Okay, well, I mispronounce a lot of
Tell
words.
us about your summer trips.
He kicked the dirt off the shoes.
That's right.
Let me tell you. Okay. Did I do it? Say
That's
it
not
right?
even
That's not at all right.
I was picking up what you were laying down.
No. Kick the dirt off the shoes.
Holy moly.
What about Overboard? With Goldie Hawn?
Overboard.
Yes. Please remember when you bring up movies from 49 years ago.
Hey, man overboat. I guess it's the same term.
It's literally like Overboard.
Listen,
Sorry that I got the title wrong. It happens way too much, to the point where, like, I don't understand.
What do you mean?
Why it happens so often with me. It's becoming like.
I think because you're really busy. No, I think you're busy, so you kind of get the title, like, as you're walking out of the room, you're like, Overboard. And then And then, like, you go your whole life thinking that was the title.
I also think your brain is taking up a lot of work doing a lot of different things as a mom, a wife, a friend, a host, a managing editor. You might not just have that much space. You're fine. You're doing a lot. You're killing it.
Do you think other people?
Real.
Thank you, Jeff.
What?
Get real.
Her brain doesn't have that much bandwidth.
Tori.
She's doing so
You're
much.
right, Tori. And a business
And a full
owner.
business.
Maybe she doesn't listen enough to get the right phrasing for the sentence.
Maybe you should be thrown overboard.
See, it seemed like she had your back, and she.
Yeah, I know.
She didn't at the end.
Wow.
Coming up on DBL, they called her the Queen of Meth. Tom Arnold's own sister at the top of a criminal enterprise, the surprising details in True Crime Chronicles, and we're looking back on one of our favorite celebrity interviews, Candace Cameron Bure, from her former castmate, Lori Loughlin, to her spicy secret to a long-lasting marriage. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to DBL. Candace Cameron Bure has been a household name since her days as DJ Tanner on the beloved sitcom Full House and later in the equally successful Fuller House. Tori and I also talked with her about her secret to keeping things spicy in her marriage. Here's a look back at our chat. Candace Cameron Bure, welcome to DBL. Now, before we get to your fabulous clothing line, the 5th and final season of Fuller House debuted last year. But if you could keep playing DJ Tanner, and I'm crossing my fingers here, in a spin-off, would you?
Oh, yes. Of course I would. It's like a no-brainer question. I love playing DJ. She's such a huge part of my life, and I love the show. I hope we get to do a 3rd iteration of it.
Your TV dad, Bob Saget, recently came to your defense when you were described as fake. Why did someone say that? First off, I don't even care. And how did he chime in on your behalf?
There's lots of people that think I'm fake because I'm a generally happy and positive person
I feel
and
you.
have a lot of joy. I've known Bob for for 35 years. You know, we have a long-standing friendship. So, of course, it feels great. And I appreciated it very much. But he's like one of the dearest people in my life.
I know how close-knit you and your cast are on Full House. So that being said, have you checked in on Lori Loughlin since her release from prison, and how is she doing?
Yes, I've talked to Lori many times, and she's doing well.
So you're currently shooting your 10th Hallmark Christmas movie. Our viewers here know that I watch every single Hallmark movie. I'm obsessed with Hallmark movies, especially Christmas ones.
Oh, boy.
You also mentioned that with each movie, you've become more and more anxious about filming, even though you've been in the industry for God knows how long.
There's something about the Christmas movies because they're very special and people love them so much. They genuinely mean a lot to them during the Christmas season. And so when you have some of the most anticipated movies, it has been a layer of pressure that gets added every year to make sure the movie's going to be as good as the next one. This last year, it just kind of hit me. It's like, you know, one day you feel like you're going to fall off that pedestal, and I'm like, and so what if I do? It's okay, Candace.
Talk to me about spiciness, all right? I'm about to be 9 years married, and you had a very spicy marriage, and it goes with your faith, and I just have to say...
Give us some tips.
I need the secrets, and I want to know, because I think that's a really, really important thing for a marriage, to have a base in that you still are attracted to each other. Talk to me about that.
You know, I think it's important. You got to keep it up. The longer that you're married, it's so easy to take each other for granted, or, you know, like you know each other so well that you forget. So you have to keep it spicy. And I love that. That's what my husband and I do. And that's why we'll be, I think one of the reasons we'll be celebrating 25 years of marriage this year.
Wow.
That's incredible.
25 years of marriage.
I just can't.
I know. And Candace, I am a little bored in the bedroom. I'll be honest. I love my husband. I'm probably bored for him.
Oh,
he's probably
no.
over me
He's
and
not.
me not being
Mark
spicy and
loves
sassy.
you.
So
Just do something unexpected.
like what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like what?
Like what?
How graphic do you want me to be?
Yeah, girl.
Wear something you don't before, or don't. Maybe lay in a way that you don't normally
This is good.
gosh, I'm
lay or
blushing.
position yourself.
That is so good. I love this.
All right.
Woo.
All right,
I'll
so
be like,
let's,
whoa, you'll surprise him.
before we let you go, we got to hear all about your newest venture into clothing and retail. Give us all the details.
So the Candace Cameron Bure clothing line is exclusively sold at QVC. We just debuted last month to a sellout, which was like mind-blowing. I was so happy. This little top, I have jeans on too. They're from the line. You know, the clothing line has a lot of elastic waistbands, but they're not your mother's elastic waistbands, okay?
Don't forget, you guys, to check out all of Candace's brand on her website, CandaceCBeret.com. Also, check her out on QVC. Candace, thank you so much for joining us
Such a
and for being
pleasure.
transparent.
Thank you so much, ladies.
We just appreciate you. We really do. We'll be right
Bye.
back.
Welcome back to DBL. Lori Arnold ran one of the biggest meth empires in the 90s, and after being caught and serving time, she's finally sharing her story. Earlier, Al and I spoke with Lori and her very famous brother, Tom Arnold. But first, here's a look back at her story on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
My name is Lori Arnold. I'm a material technician. The money I make a week, I used to make that in a few minutes.
Lori Arnold was one of America's most infamous and unexpected drug lords.
So easy to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was too easy.
She turned addiction into an enterprise, which stemmed from a trauma-filled childhood. She and her brother Tom grew up in Ottumwa, Iowa, in an unstable family.
First time I took speed, I was 14, and it was with my mom.
Their mother got Lori hooked early and would offer her up to older men.
She served my sister up, her daughter, to a rapist and a serial pedophile. She said, here he is. And that's beyond bad judgment. That was a big deal. It really set the tone for me versus my mom. I mean, openly hostile from that point on.
Tom needed to escape that environment, so he moved to California to pursue writing and comedy. He went on to star in Roseanne, The Jackie Thomas Show, and more. Meanwhile, back home, Lori was running a sprawling multi-state meth empire.
Decided I was going to do something. Even if it's wrong, I'm going to do something to take care of myself.
She began using, dealing, and supplying to her hometown and beyond.
We decided to cook our own on our property so we wouldn't have to drive to California, to get it. So I ended up hiring my own chemist to order a whole meth lab out of a catalog.
Her lab was producing between 10 to 20 pounds of meth a week.
We would order P2P, which came in 55-gallon drums from Albuquerque. And that makes the real methamphetamine. That is the Breaking Bad methamphetamine.
Each week, she raked in at least $200,000.
Lori always had a lot of friends. But I'll tell you, when she was selling drugs, she was extremely popular.
Their economically depressed hometown suddenly became a booming meth empire.
The first time I tried it, I'm like, well, it's pretty good, so I want my friends to share it with me. It wasn't like I want to go get everybody addicted and ruin their lives.
Her reign lasted about 6 years.
She became a big-time drug dealer and ended up in prison. Well, right.
In 1989, the queen of meth was caught after the FBI had been following her for years. She was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Because there's just some that mothers don't do.
Well, yeah, what she did was wrong. She
ruined your life.
Well, she
ruined your life.
I forgave that.
Lori was released early in 1999, only to fall back into the drug game again. After being arrested and serving time again, she was released in 2008.
I'm standing here strong because of what I went through. I don't know. I'll always be remembered as the queen of meth.
We are here with Tom Arnold. Thank you, Tom, for coming on DBL. Now, Tom, most people know you as an actor and comedian, but what they don't know is that you and your sister Lori had a really difficult and very secret past. So if you can Wayne's World us back in time to your childhood, you're in Iowa. What was that like watching your mother expose your little sister to drugs and the complete opposite of sort of a normal childhood?
It wasn't good. I think that our mother left when I was 4 and my sister was 3. I knew our mother was not a mother. But when I was 15, I decided I wanted to grow my hair out. I wanted to drink. I wanted no adult supervision. So I moved in with her. And unfortunately, my sister followed. My sister who worshiped her. And she was 14, and the first drug she ever did was with our mother. They were bar buddies. They went out one night. They met a guy that's 23. And my mother drove my sister, 14-year-old sister, and this serial pedophile to Missouri and made them get married. And I just knew her life is over. You just screwed up your daughter's life. And that's really what happened. The guy beat her, She eventually left him. I went to get her, is what happened. And then she met another guy that was the captain of the Grim Reaper motorcycle gang, married him at 18. And they were already involved with drugs. And my sister's very smart. She was great at school before she left. And she said, well, let's make this a real business.
Oh, wow.
There's no way for it to go except prison or death.
Wow.
Let's move forward to the 90s where you blew. I mean, you blew up. You starred in big gigs like Roseanne, which was maybe the biggest show of the 90s or one of them, and the Jackie Thomas Show. Meanwhile, your sister began running this massive empire. So just where do you see the split that you guys went down these different paths?
Well, in 1988, I moved to Los Angeles to write the Roseanne Show. You know, I'm an addict, alcoholic. I'm in recovery, but I am that guy too. And I just knew after a year in Los Angeles, I can't keep doing this. I always had a dream, and I don't know if you call it God, but there was always some voice in my head that said, you could do better than this. Wow. There is something out there. If you get it together, there is something out there. So I just believed that. As crazy it is, I just thought, yeah, there is something outside of here. My dream is not here. It's outside of here, and I'm lucky that I got out.
What's your relationship with your sister like right now? I'm fascinated to know if you guys are getting along. How do you guys deal with each other? You know,
she is my little sister, and you know, there's a lot of pictures of us growing up, and we've always had that relationship. I always thought I was like a parent to her, which I'm sure got very annoying because we're a year and a half apart. It's good. You know, the first time she got arrested, I was so sad. I was out in Los Angeles. I got a call from one of the feds. He said, there's nothing you can do. This is what happened. I was just terribly, terribly sad. They wanted to send her to prison for life, and I helped her get a good lawyer. They got that cut down. But the second time, after she'd been in prison for 8.5 years and went back there and started doing it again, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was very angry. And I even warned her, they know you're dealing. If you stop today, they won't arrest you. And she's like, mind your own blank business.
Wow.
But I'm very proud of her now. She's living an honest life. She was honest in this documentary series. She got confronted by her son. She got confronted by other people. And I'm very proud of the life she's living now.
Wow, that's amazing. You can learn more about Lori's story. Watch the brand new documentary, Queen of Meth. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, brother.
We really do. Thanks again. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to DBL. We're going to dig into our viewer mailbag and find out what our viewers want to know about us. So, Al, a comedy question from Brenda. She wants to know, what city do you love performing stand-up the most?
Man, there's so many great comedy cities. Madison, Wisconsin is awesome. Your hometown of D.C. is great. I like Columbus, Ohio and Cleveland, Ohio, not even being a homer. Denver is where one of my favorite comics filmed his album. That's why I've recorded an album here. So there's so many like really cool areas all over the country. Atlanta's also awesome.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Florida, because that's where you started.
Yeah. You know what, and that's not a shot against Florida. There's a lot of drinking down there, and it's hard for the crowds to focus.
Yes.
But that's why it's so much fun.
Yes. Okay, so this next question is for me. Jocelyn says, Sam, what's the most expensive thing your pets or your kids have ruined? Well, I don't really have many expensive things now, but I remember when I was first making money, you go a little crazy at first. I got designer shoes. And I did not have kids at the time. They were Prada heels, but I did have my dog, Baby. And I remember coming home and Baby ate 2 things that week. One, I swear when I say this, she ate the couch. Like the couch from Restoration Hardware was like fuzz.
Wow.
And then my beautiful designer shoes, she ate those too.
But you know what, Baby had good taste.
Baby did have good taste.
I know, she had good taste.
Design.
Shout out to Baby.
I miss you, Baby.
She's swirling in the heavens.
Yes, she is. Al made a book about Baby for me. A real book. A real book. Yeah.
What a friend.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
That's my
DBL's
girl.
new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.